empty seat in Pomona at the Cheap Auto Parts 32nd Annual NHRA Winternationals. We're in the pit area right now. John Force, the defending season-long champion, a new engine going into his cars. We get ready for the funny cars. They'll be coming up right after the Top Fuels, but it's back to the Top Fuels now in our next matchup in round number 2. Bobby Baldwin going up against Pat Austin. And Baldwin's got his hands full in the near lane. Austin really came on at the end of last year, Steve.
And Austin is running the same green and white car and same crew, including his brother Mike there, they had last year. One big difference, though, they no longer have the crew chief, Lee Beard. And that could be a factor. Right now, his dad Walt certainly do a fine job. The #1 qualifier and a new national record for Pat Austin. And let's recall that Austin only joined Top Fuel last year at the U.S. Nationals. He was runner-up there. He went on to win Topeka. He went on to win the Winston Finals in October at this very track. Bobby Baldwin, a local product, born and raised in Pomona, California. And earlier today in round number 1, what a driving job he did. It was Baldwin in the far lane, Connie Coletta in the near lane. But Baldwin, the blue car, is the one you're going to be interested in.
That's right. As he got down to the end, he wins the race handily, but something happens to the chutes, and there is no parachute on the car. And what a superb job of driving Baldwin did. Watch him take this thing around the road course just like it was a sporty car.
He turned a Top Fuel dragster into a Formula One machine and survived the car intact to race here in round number 2. The fans here at Pomona, they loved it. Baldwin was a member of the Knothole gang when he was a little kid that watched the race from the golf course down at the end of the track through binoculars. And here he is in round 2 of the big one at Pomona.
Well, that little driving job that Baldwin just pulled off is what Michael Brotherton was trying to do.
Absolutely, and Pat Austin hopes he doesn't have to be challenged that way. Everybody prays for the chutes as fast as these cars are running these days. Austin far lane, Bobby Baldwin near lane. Baldwin with motor problems, but he was never really in this one. Pat Austin, another 4-second run, 492 at 289 miles per hour. He's got consistency and performance. He'll be awfully hard to beat. And looking on is Connie Coletta, a spectator now after losing in round 1. But let's remember, he had the glory a few years ago when he hit 290, the first to do it, and right on this very racetrack.
And right now on this very racetrack, the man that ran a 4.88, Doug Herbert, in round number 1, as he gets ready for his matchup with Joe Amato.
A little bad news, though, for the Herbert team. That run was so hard on the car, they had to change engines. Of course, that's good news for Tim Richards with the Joe Amato car.
But the bad news is he loses lane choice and has a 489 from the previous round. How about that for a record?
Well, I guarantee you, no one's ever lost lane choice with a 489. But Amato didn't get started well at this event. This was his first qualifying run. Big problems, Tom Garland.
It certainly was. Watch the parts start falling off this engine, and I'm telling you, when that happens, big money is being spent. There goes the whole valve cover off the side of it. I'll tell you, they had to put a new one in. There wasn't anything they saved that time.
And now Joe Amato faces Doug Herbert, a young man, a native of California, now living in North Carolina. Second-generation racer. His father, Chet, still a competitor on the Salt Lakes. Coming out of that 488, let's check in with Steve.
Pat Austin's perfect afternoon, perfect event continues. A 492 right there.
That's right in the thick of things, ain't it? There's some fast cars out here, and as long as we can be close, that's the name of the game, is just being there.
Any more speed in this car? It ran 289.
Sure there is. It's just the conditions are changing, so it's hotter out here, and we're just being a little careful.
Great job.
Thank you.
So he feels positive, and will we see 300 today? We've already seen better than 290 as we get ready for the matchup between Joe Amato and Doug Herbert.
As you can see, Joe Amato is in the near lane where Doug Herbert has put him. Doug Herbert, let's remember, the quickest elapsed time in the history of the sport at 488. Amato used to hold that honor. He's kind of like to have it back. Both drivers anticipating the Christmas tree. There'll be a flash of yellow. Traction problems for Amato. Herbert blows an engine. Amato pedals the car back on the throttle, and Amato will win this wacky race. Tim Richards and Jerry Amato just, really? You sure we won that?
Wacky is the word for it, Steve, especially when you consider that Joe Amato looked out of it when he smoked his tires.
As we watch a replay, we see that was a very even start. Herbert might have taken a little advantage, but Amato's car had too much power. Smokes the tires early. It looks like he's out of the race. But a blower explosion on the Herbert car changes the picture completely. Let's watch Amato's car. Watch his right knee as he comes off of the accelerator pedal when the car loses traction. He sees Herbert's car explode. He steps back down on it. He realizes he still has the chance to win.
So our semifinal pairings are set. It'll be Kenny Bernstein against Joe Amato, with Bernstein having the lane choice. And in the other semi, Pat Austin matching up with Jim Head, where Austin will have the lane choice. Let's go to Steve.
Well, it's well known that Joe Amato carries a bag of Lucky Charms. And, buddy, they paid some big dividends that time.
I'd rather be lucky than good any day, Steve. In that case, we really needed it. I mean, the sun came out. I guess the track's gone away a little bit, and we're trying to run fast, and went up in smoke. And then I saw him. He was in front of me, then a big fireball, and I pedaled it a couple times. I knew just had to keep it smooth, don't go over the center line, and get the wind light, and we'll go from here.
You have lost lane choice to Bernstein.
Well, I knew that was the minute we smoked the tires, but the wind light's all you need. You got to be out there to give it a shot.
What a job.
You can tell in the back of his mind, they're all thinking about 300. They all want to be the first one there, and they're all having problems because of it. Mark Sievers backing into the position now as we move to round number 2 in the funny cars. And Steve, Mark Sievers, a great story, one of the surprises.
Oh, yeah, he was the last to just squeak into the field. Not so his opponent, Cruz Pedregon. In his first ever national event in a nitro funny car, he has qualified number 2. Formerly drove the Larry Minor Top Fuel car. Now in this funny car and showing tremendous promise, young man from Ventura, California. Mark Sievers, like I said, he barely got in the field with his 91 Olds Cutlass, owned by John Lindsay. But this car has stepped up and run 530s, even high 520s in the past. It's an erratic car, but you just never know.
Well, Sievers is certainly going to have his hands full with Pedregon, because they have been the most consistent car at this event so far.
Oh, an engine explosion for Pedregon. Sievers having all kinds of problems. And Sievers, who has not run quicker than a 694 all day, will go into the final 4. What a shot. As soon as Cruz Pedregon stepped down on that throttle, Big Daddy, that body just kind of said, hello.
Can you imagine the headache he's going to have after that impact of what it took to blow that body up?
Well, what it took was a mini A-bomb. The latches that hold those bodies down are very substantial. You can't imagine the kind of force it took to unlatch it quite like that. Parts and pieces all over the racetrack. The good news is Cruz is okay and with Don.
Boy, I bet when you stepped down on that, it rung your bell, didn't it?
Yeah, I wasn't really concerned. I'm sorry to lose the race for McDonald's. I mean, all the McDonald's people are here, and we wanted to do good for them. We're disappointed.
Well, you've done exceptionally well. The car ran real good.
Thank you.
So Cruz Pedregon not only disappointed for his entire crew, but also the sponsors who all made it out to Pomona this afternoon. We continue with round 2 in the funny cars, and we're getting the car started right now for Al Hoffman.
Al Hoffman won the last event held here at Pomona. You saw it on Sports World, the Winston Finals. And here is the surprise of this entire event, Don Garlick's Jim Epler.
I never heard of him, but we're hearing of him today, and that's for sure.
This is the first time he's ever been past the first round, and it hasn't been luck at all. Al Hoffman won the last 2 events of the 1991 season, the final one being right here. But earlier in this event, first came the wheel stand, then the body unlatches and enters the freestyle competition here at the Drag Racing Winter Olympics. The shits came out all by themselves. Hoffman was fine, and believe it or not, so was the body. They just repaired a little scrape on the roof, bolted it back on, and they're ready for round number 2.
And as Al Hoffman moves into position, getting ready for his matchup with Jim Epler, you can see no real damage to that body. Epler, the real surprise story, Steve.
Oh, absolutely. You heard Big Daddy. He wasn't familiar with the name, but he is now. Oh, this is a beauty. Oh, and what a surge by Epler on the top end of the racetrack. Hoffman had him beaten. Epler, tremendous power, 527 at 272 to a 530 at 277.
Beautiful start by both drivers, but Epler immediately starts to take an advantage. Hoffman ran real good, a 530, which was good for his car, but it wasn't good enough for the 527 of Epler.
So the underdog story continues as Jim Epler comes through with a close finish and a victory. We'll continue with round 2 of the funny cars.